Hey guys, so this is my second dev diary. The dev diaries are an attempt for me to share some of the stuff that I'm working on kind of day to day, just to give an insight into what type of work I'm doing, and hopefully kind of be able to connect with more developers and share some of hopefully someone learns something. So in the last kind of dev diary that I did, I was talking about being going to, we were going to Nordic Game Awards, or the Nordic Game Festival conference. I already did that. It was really fun. So I can share some of the stuff that we took with us. So we updated our website, got this really nice graphic in the background, the video in the background, and we decided to kind of focus our website a lot more. So we used to have a lot of kind of different things that were kind of centered around projects that haven't really been kind of fleshed out properly, that we're really excited about, but they didn't really fit the kind of overall message that we wanted to take with us. So we simplified the website, kind of the corporate website down, focusing just on the mission of the company, have some really nice concepts from that we made, and then it's just a focus on the team itself, and then just news. But what we did was that we made another website here, focusing on just showing off a little bit of a teaser for the game that we're making, and this was a massive hit. Like, people really loved this. So we spent some time making something really cool beforehand. We had a lot of fun doing it, and this really kind of drove home the point of what we were making, which is the a single sharded massive multiplayer game. So I can just show you guys here right in the end. Last time I showed off some of the track building logic that I was making. You can see that it's happening on top of it here. So we used it for the actual video. And then we just put some emphasis on kind of the high-level concepts of the game itself: collaboration, creativity, and community, and then the pillars. And then we were just sharing some concept art and screenshots. So so yeah, like I said, that was really fun. Got to meet a lot of people, and really kind of reminded me how fun it is to go and be around people who are all kind of the super passionate about kind of game development. Like, all of the projects that I heard about, all of the and just all of the people, it was just really fun, and can't wait to get to do another one. But but I can I'll also share a little bit of the work that I'm doing. Kind of the big thing that I'm designing right now is that we are planning on releasing the kind of a prototype version or a test version of the product in the coming weeks. So one of the things that we learned when we were doing the last version of it was that even though we're not really innovating a lot in the kind of the movement of the player or any of the core game system or the moment-to-moment game systems, it is still very important to for a player who enters the world to understand what's going on, understand where to go, and just get a basic feel for the game. So I've been working on a new player experience. So it's a very soft new player experience. And the way that I did it is I created, and I'll actually show it in a little bit, I created a grid material that I overlaid over the actual level in the world. The grid material is like, I know how big it is, so I have a rough idea on how fast the player will actually move through it here. So the player is going to start here at the end of it, at the end of a harbor or a small dock, and then the player is going to move onto the first kind of NP or kind of presentation kiosk. I'm calling it kiosks because like, I don't know if it's going to be an NPC or if it's going to be a sign or whatever, but basically it's going to be, you walk up to something, you're going to get an indicator saying you can interact with this thing, and it's going to pop up a message telling you something interesting, like start with a welcoming, and then it's going to give you this insight into kind of the different systems. So I'm actually pretty happy with how this game design document that I'm doing came out, because the picture itself is pretty kind of like, it explains what I'm talking about quite nicely. Like, it shows kind of the core path through it. The big yellow kind of things are the ones that I'm most I want the emphasis to be on people. I want people to see the welcome message, and I want people to see the first mission message. But then the harvesting and collaboration ones, I mean, it would be nice if people see them so they are off the path a little bit. But I don't want to make and I say it here, I don't want this to be a gated thing where you just have to wait while we take you through this. I decided to do. I just filled in with a purple color here, and the purple color means that this is where I assume that the player is going to spend most time standing on, so we can put extra emphasis on making sure that everything kind of looks good here, and there's like an extra amount of polish of kind of interesting things here. And then kind of the focus is going to be, for example, if we take the harvesting one here, or let's take another more interesting one. So let's do the logistics one. So, and then we have this design document here, kiosk number 3, that's this one here. We haven't really built this yet, so this is still in development. So here's the direction of what the card itself should be showing. It should be highlighting different ways to move things because it's the logistics one, and then the visuals in the area itself are things that we need to focus on. Sorry, I have to sneeze. But yeah, basically, so what's going to happen now is that this goes back to the team. This is kind of the creative direction that I want for this the direction that I want with this, and then the team is going to split this up into tasks and figure out like what's the work needed to actually pull this off. So yeah, I was pretty happy with how this is going to do. And the good thing here is that like I just put in, and we obviously did this as a team. Like we went through, we go through this through a sequence every morning now, where we just go through the player's kind of journey through the game, and then we're iterating on it and adding more details. So yeah, we're gonna see something really cool here in not too long. And another really interesting thing, and a thing that I'm excited about here, is that here I can also like it's pretty easy for me to set up these kind of analytics events. So once we actually go public on the public playtest server, we can see how many people are actually hitting the welcome kiosk, and how many people are doing the kind of the minor ones, because we had a version before where I was so sure that I would spawn the player right in front of an NPC, and I was thinking, okay, there's no way people are going to misunderstand this, like everyone is going to walk up until this up to this NPC, but it was less than half that walked up to it. So I'm like this time I'm going to kind of continue to build on top of what we learned in the last kind of version, and yeah, put a lot more emphasis on directing the player both through visuals and through hints, and then backing it up with analytics to make sure that that everything is working. So the last thing that I want to share in this video here is that I've jumped here into Unreal Engine. I actually realized that if I have the real-time option here turned on, the stream or the recording actually lags a lot, so it took me a while to figure that out. But yeah, so if you saw saw kind of the overlay that I was doing here, I didn't do this in Photoshop or anything like that. I actually just made a material. So if I just drag and drop this grid measurement plane in here, and I'll just set it to here on the left, I have a grid size value here, and if I put it to 1, I'm getting a grid point. Yeah, it's very, very dense, very difficult to see. So here, each one of these kind of grid points that I have here is one Unreal unit. So if I scale this up a little bit, yeah, there's a lot of kind of banting and stuff because it's so dense. But the material that I made kind of just doesn't really takes the, if I do 64, yeah, it takes into account 64, yeah, so it takes into account the size of the object itself. So if I scale this up to like an even number here, 16, so you can see that that now I have there are 16 Unreal units between each one of these cells, and you can also see that I can pretty easily overlay it on top of my scene, because it's set up in a way that so it doesn't write into the depth buffer, so it's always going to be on top. And this is I mean, it's not scientifically accurate, but it's very nice for me if I want to do some measuring and things like that. Like I did with the image here in the design document, I'll just overlay this material here, and that works. So just taking a quick look to how it works. It's not very complicated. So I basically take the object scale, and the object scale is going to be a float 3. I take just the x and y out of it because the plane that I'm using doesn't actually, I don't need the z value. And then I have the grid size here. 24 is the magic number that the texture is built with. So I just divide the grid size with my magic number here, multiply that and multiply that. So here I'm actually just multiplying the texture coordinates here, and then I build the texture coordinates of the of a texture map that I have here. I'll be completely honest. There's a good chance that there's an error in my in the math here, but it kind of got the job done for what I was doing. I mean, I don't need any accuracy, but I was pretty happy with how it turned out. And then I made an actor here. Let's see if I can move the actor over here and just show how it works. And then the actor itself, I just put the static mesh here as a plane, and put the material in here. And then in the construction script, I'm creating a dynamic material instance, and then I'm just updating the kind of the grid size parameter with a floating point value that I have here on the blueprint. As you can see, it's and that's also exposed here as a instance exposed. And then, I was actually not sure. Like, I haven't done this in a while, so I was doing this fast. So I don't know. There's probably a better way to do this, but at least I'm just getting the material here, creating a dynamic material, setting the scalar parameter value to grid size, and the grid size is the parameter that I created here in the material itself. And then this kind of just every time that the construction script execute, which is any time that anything changes, this is pretty good for editor stuff. So if I just, that's fine. So grid size is being changed here. So if I move this to 32, for example, or 64, anytime that I change a parameter here, this actually changes. So 24. And doing this, I just overlaid this on top of my, let's see if I can just, yeah. So so this was a pretty easy way for me to get like an overlaying grid on top of my, scene, so that I could make the level design itself instead of having to draw it. I have some, like, there is some accuracy to this. Like I am placing it in the world, and like I can zoom in and out, so I'm getting kind of getting an idea on how big this is. So yeah, I mean, I hope this was fun. I hope I can do more of these, and I really hope I can do some more in-depth kind of tutorials and things like that in the future. But I'm just trying to do a couple of try to do this fun. So yeah, thanks, and